Here's how I make a tuna sandwich. I take the celery sticks, I chop. I put them in the bowl before the tuna goes, and then I put the tuna in. Here's how I make a tuna fish sandwich. I open up the can of tuna. I put it in a bowl. I slice up the celery. It has to have celery. Cannot have celery. Cannot not have celery. Here's how I make a tuna fish sandwich. I open the can of tuna. Here's how I make a tuna fish sandwich. Here's how I make a tuna fish sandwich. I opened up 2 cans of Here's how I make a tuna fish sandwich. I opened up 2 cans of tuna in water, not oil. It has to be water. Oil's disgusting. And then you put it in the bowl, and I chop up a celery stick really, really fast. Super like, fuck it. Welcome to SmartLess.
SmartLess.
You heard about Bennett, that he's doing some personal training now. Do you know about this?
You're late to the bit. Some of us get on a little bit early, make sure our devices are working. And
I like those.
go
It means
through
it's a
some
good
bits.
bit. It's proven as a good bit. 2 for 2.
What time is your next session?
I've got one at 9:45. If we could start wrapping this one up, please.
What are you talking about?
For sure.
Hear us, Sean? Oh, there he is.
Sean, we could have you start stretching, please.
And chaturanga.
Surprise guest. Give us a little snap if you don't mind.
Oh,
Bingo.
nice.
Sean, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Sean, do you know what Bennett's background is? Really quick, do you know what that is?
It looks like a gym. Oh,
Okay.
You're reading books, I see.
Yeah, you've seen
picture books.
Somebody's seen pictures of stuff.
So Will is back from Georgia.
I know. When did you get back, Will?
Yesterday.
That's cool.
And yeah.
Are you checking your text? Do you want to get back to us?
Yeah, I'm
after you
just,
Yeah.
is that
We
cool?
can just
You
hold
guys
it.
have a
Should we hold the
minute?
record?
Somebody's calling me, so I'm trying to think why my do not disturb didn't work. But guys, hey, we flew back yesterday, and had some crazy turbulence early into the flight.
Wow.
And you love turbulence.
And it was maybe the worst I've ever had, and it was scary AF. And the rest of the flight, I was just the cortisol dump that I had from that was just so intense.
Yeah.
It was like one of those side to side and up and down.
And being alone is scary too, because I'm sure you were alone.
Well,
on
I
the
was
plane.
flying.
Yeah. Oh, so you were up
I
front.
flew myself. Yeah, I was up front. So I was really scared because also I don't know how to fly a plane.
Yeah. Do you get really scared about turbulence?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. You guys talk about all your world travels. You don't remember flying next to this old gal?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
You know that I am. And Jason, you
She
know
loves
that I
to
am.
dig her fingers into your arm if you're sitting next to her.
What was that?
She white knuckles it all the way.
I know.
If you don't
By the
bring her
way-
a white Russian in time, you're going to get some fingernails.
Oh, listen, I was just like, at that point, anything was on the table.
Yeah.
But was it like gaspy? Were you,
We were like, oh, yeah. And it was just me. It was me and Eli and our buddy Bob and Liz on the
that's
plane.
scary.
And it was,
And everybody ends up just closing their eyes and not talking.
yeah, nobody talked. It got really, it gets weird.
are they
And,
as nervous flyers as you are, or were they more casual?
No, but I think that everybody plays a role. Once somebody is the most nervous, then everybody else can be degrees of less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was definitely the worst. I've been better
true,
lately, but that one yesterday, and the guy had said to us, like, look, there's going to be some pretty, it's going to be pretty choppy early on. I didn't think that
Did you say chappy?
He said pretty choppy, yeah, because I wanted to get what chappy.
We got it.
Okay.
Good. He's in.
Pretty chappy early on.
Anyway, it was one of those like, please don't let this be the moment, all that kind of shit. And
Did you send off any texts to any family members?
I couldn't even reach for my. Are you kidding?
He's doing it now. He was doing it at the beginning of the show.
Well, the funny thing about it is it's the control too. So it's like looking out the window, holding on, as if like my worry or looking at or any of it's going to have any effect on the outcome.
Like if I grab the thing with the chair really hard, it'll brace my fall.
Have you thought about hypnosis at all?
I have, because I know our friend she did it, right?
Yeah, and it works for her. Ish.
Does it?
Yeah. Well,
she won't
it
fly
used
at
to
night.
be worse.
So,
what about? But you guys ever done hypnosis? You ever been?
Yeah, I did guided hypnosis or something, but I didn't really. I don't know.
What were you trying to do? Can we go for guesses? Eliminate marshmallows from your diet.
And it was half successful. Now he's just doing the mini
And
ones.
I'm drinking hot cocoa, so it didn't work.
Are you really drinking hot? Are you having hot cocoa right now?
Yeah, right now. But here's the thing.
I know. It is like every day it's a 11-year-old's birthday party.
You know,
over
he
there.
truly is one of Santa's elves. I think that's who Sean is.
Wait, Sean,
listen,
what was it?
last night I flew. I went out yesterday and came back last night to Vegas to see you two at the Sphere.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? You guys went. It's,
Yeah.
I didn't
it
go.
was unbelievable.
He went.
Isn't that the Sphere incredible?
Mind blowing. It's I don't know how they do.
I
that.
saw that picture that you guys posted or you did or Scotty did of you guys with Jimmy and Deb and Edge.
The Edge. Yeah.
It's just Edge.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Edge. Sorry, Mr. Edge.
Fuck, man. Come on.
The is not his first name.
It is not.
No,
It's mine.
He's a very cool dude.
Yeah. No.
The Jason Fabian.
They're all
Yeah.
also great. But anyway, it was great. It was amazing. I can't believe I lost so much money. We landed, gambled, ate, saw the show, came back home. That's how you do it. I can't sleep overnight there. It's so depressing.
But your game is guess. I think Will, you might know this, but listener, you guess what Sean Hayes' game of choice is.
Well, I think he's mentioned it on the show before, but it's, it's roulette. He likes roulette and blackjack.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not supposed to.
Is that
We're
our
not supposed to
guest?
say
Oh,
it,
that's
but
our guest. Well, why don't
Here
we
we
get to
come.
it? Why
Let's
don't we
introduce
include
this
Our guest is
person?
anxious to get.
That
We've
is
never had it.
unbelievable.
We've never.
The first time. That is a guest violation.
Yeah, it's the first one.
Could you tell, by the way? Could you tell just by the voice?
Not yet. I couldn't, but we've started. They've
Okay, here we
started
go.
in the
Starting
penalty
in a
box.
2-minute penalty box. It's just a minor.
Well, my intro is about 2 minutes. So that's perfect.
Okay.
I'm so excited about my guest today.
They're obviously excited because they're already on the show. I mean,
No, I've been trying to get him for a long time. He's considered rom-com royalty, but he's also done it all, guys, exceptionally well, I might add. I'm a huge fan, and the best part is he may be even nicer than me. When he first moved to Los Angeles, he worked as a bartender for nearly a decade. Over the years, he's become a very effective environmental activist fighting for, amongst other things, climate change and a zillion other
Ed
things.
Begley Jr., the
he's
rom-com king. Here he comes. Oh, this is exciting.
Ed Begley Jr., who I love, actually, by the way. I'm such a fan of
Nice
this
guy.
person. I can't wait for you to see who it is. You're going to love him. One of his characters makes me green with envy.
Jim
Whenever
Carrey?
I think of how to spell or say his name, I always think of the word buffalo. It's my hero, Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, Mark. Yeah.
Of course I broke the rules.
wait, Ruffalo,
broke the rule?
Are you a rom-com king? Is that
I,
your?
didn't,
I was going to go with Hugh Grant or...
I know. There's
No, you've done obviously amazing dramatic work, but I love your rom-coms.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mark,
done a
look, we've
couple.
got matching peepers on.
I know. I saw that. I
love
was
it.
like,
Yeah.
what else can I use here? Do I have anything else?
Mark, did I just see you got nominated yesterday? Critics' Choice Award, maybe something like that.
The National Board of Review.
National Board of
National
Review.
Board of
But
Review.
who's counting? Huh?
Yeah, come on.
You're
I mean,
such
but
a
I am a
stud.
New Yorker, so I had a shoe in.
Mark Ruffalo, dude, welcome. It's
Will,
been a minute.
Will and I go way back. Do you know that?
No, tell me how.
I mean, mid '90s, early '90s.
I bet you can give us the month, Willie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. They. How about this? Fall of '96 is when you guys did "This Is Our Youth."
You're unbelievable. You're
Wow,
know.
how do you know that? How do you know that?
Because so Mark did "This Is Our Youth" with Josh Hamilton and my then girlfriend Missy Yeager, whom I've talked
It's
about.
a great play.
and with that Kenny Lonergan wrote, and they did it off Broadway. What was that theater, Mark? The first theater you guys did it.
the Intar.
The Intar.
The Intar.
The Intar, and it was like, and Mark and Missy had also done a lot of, I guess it was like Tuesdays at 9 that you guys were doing a bunch of scenes that Kenny had written, right, for a few years leading up to it.
Yeah, there was they had that playwright, Naked Angels had that short plays festival.
Yeah, and then
Are you in a closet, Mark?
No, this is my office.
Oh, okay.
My wife has the giant room upstairs with the balcony, and I'm in what used to be a laundry room / bathroom, and where I'm sitting is where the toilet was, basically.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty awesome. Listener, it's wood paneled. It's got beautiful pictures on it, but it is narrow. And
It's New York.
It's New York,
Yeah,
man.
this is like premium
So cool.
space in New York.
Yeah,
I mean, people have apartments this size in New York.
I mean,
Mark, it's so nice to meet you. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for
Thank
doing
you for
this.
bringing me.
It's really
so cool.
wait, you're just meeting him and he's your guest. Will and I both know him. Why are you one
Yeah,
of
we
our
go
guests?
back. Jason and
Damn
I
it.
go back.
He's my guest because I'm a big fan.
You guys go back?
A tiny bit. We don't go back to the intern theater or whatever it was called.
Intar,
but,
bro.
That's it. Sorry, bro.
Come on, bro.
But Mark is just. I think I fanned out quite a bit when I met you the first couple of times, and I'm kind of fanning out now. You're just one of my favorites, Mark.
Yeah,
truly.
Oh
absolutely.
man,
I mean,
thank you.
it's
Coming
just-
from you, that's a huge compliment.
I mean,
Thank you, any
you
of
know,
you. Thank you,
It's
Sean.
Just you're
Yeah.
it.
I'm
You're
excited.
it.
Whenever I see Kenneth Lonergan, name, I was like, I think it's Kenny Loggins at first glance. But tell me, like, how, because Will mentioned,
That's fun.
Wait, can we back up into that
Yeah,
compliment
do it.
one more time?
it's like, whenever I see his name,
Because
everyone's like,
Lonergan just
Footloose?
spun in his early grave real quick.
No, I know, but I'm just. But wait, this is our youth. First of all, it was a huge hit, and like every actor in the world does scenes from that now. Like isn't that wild?
It's my son is doing scenes from it in
No
his
way.
acting class today.
Yeah. Every actor does it.
How
now.
old's your
It's
son?
so crazy. He's 22.
22.
Dude, that is so fucking crazy.
That's what happens.
You guys, you have to understand that when these guys did This Is Our Youth, when it came out, it was like shot out of a cannon. It took everybody by surprise in this way that you can't believe. People were like, all of them were so, Josh and Missy and Mark, but Mark was so good in this part that people were like tripping over themselves to offer him. They couldn't believe what it was. It was so good, and the play is so well written. Mark, you can, speak to
It's
that. What a
amazing.
beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful character. So perfect, almost, that play.
Yeah.
You want to hear something crazy? We just did a fundraiser here in New York City. Me, Missy, and Matt Damon, who took the play to London a couple years after we did it. And
You
I
did
had
like
a
a
full
reading?
white beard. We did a reading. It was basically. It was kind of turned into the stage reading. Like Missy remembered all her lines. I remembered some of mine.
Wow.
Of course, Missy remembered all hers.
Of course she did, yeah.
And Damon, was just right there. And literally, it was the play. I mean, we had the hat, we had the Major Matt Masons, and it was, it's funny because it just tells you like what you could get away with on stage. I think people bought that we were 19,
Yeah, right.
even with my big Santa Claus beard.
I'm so jealous I have zero theater history in my,
You would
in
be
my
great
history.
in
But
theater,
I just-
man.
Yeah.
I remember reading
both
for a
would.
couple in my early 20s in New York and was so nervous to get out on stage and audition for, those three, silhouettes deep in the house, speaking, that you can't see their faces, but I just thought it was
Thanks, we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
From the darkness.
Yeah, I just felt like I just did not
The
belong
voice
here,
of Satan.
and that they're doing me some kind of a favor. And they, get your sitcom ass off the stage. We need to cast some real actors here. I just
By the way, I've been thinking of this. This is apropos of nothing. I'm sorry to hijack it here, but I've been thinking about this character. I was watching TV the other day and I saw like one of those judge shows. They have like so many different judge shows, judge this and whatever,
Right.
midday shows. And I thought, I want to do one called Judge Camp. And he's like a super campy judge, and he's like, you're wearing those shoes into my court? Guilty. Get out of here.
Sean would crush
Sean,
that.
love for you to
How good
self-tape
would
for
Judge
that.
Camp be?
Oh my God.
Not with that blazer out.
With that tone, I'm ruling for your mother. You owe her $300. You know what I mean?
2 years in fashion jail. Yeah, exactly.
Judge Camp.
That is so. Thanks, we're good.
Thanks, we're good.
How many things have you done with Kenneth Lonergan?
That's what my mom calls him. Lonergan.
Lonergan.
Longer than
Lonergan?
Yeah.
What did I
Yeah.
say? Lonergan?
Yeah,
Who
but
doesn't
everyone
know?
does it. It's amazing.
What is it again? Sorry,
Lonergan.
Lonergan.
Yeah.
How many? Well, you've done 2 films, at least one.
I've done 2 films with
2
him.
films, and how many plays?
I've only done 1 play with him.
Oh, yeah?
I directed a version of This Is Our Youth. I directed I directed a version of You Can Count on Me.
God damn it, I love that movie.
A one-act version of You Can Count on Me.
Really?
And I acted in a one-act version of You Can Count on Me.
Wait, like on stage?
Yeah. It was part of that one-act festival that Missy and I did with Rob Morrow playing my character in You Can Count on Me.
For my sister, tell my sister who Missy is.
Oh, Missy Yeager is just the most brilliant actor. She's a writer now.
Yeah.
Daughter of Steve Yeager and granddaughter of Chuck Yeager. Yep.
Not true.
But really good.
Thank you.
Good name.
That covers the Yeagers
Good-
I know.
Good calling people, associating with other Jaegers you've heard of.
That's it.
thanks.
It's really
so
from
good.
the Jägermeister dynasty that
damn, I
Missy
missed
comes from.
Jägermeister.
Talk to us about how exhausting it was trying to prop up that talentless actress Laura Linney and You Can Count on Me.
Yeah, such a good movie.
One of these
I
days
mean,
she's
you
gonna
know.
find some talent. Yeah, it'll wear you out. You know? Just love her so
Yeah,
much.
Love her
so
so
good.
much. The most brilliant, sweetest, most humble.
And you could tell
Genius.
because you two are so high quality and just being people that was like this extra special rocket fuel in that movie. In a movie that the chemistry and the brother sister connection had to be sort of palpable, tangible. Like I imagine it wasn't luck that they put you two together. In that you're both so kind and such a match that you could just kind of feel it through the screen. That extra little bit that gave
Yeah,
that
I
movie
love
its
that movie.
punch. Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
I was not supposed to be in that movie at all.
No?
I had to
do you
literally
mean?
beg Kenny Lonergan to give me an audition for it.
Really?
No
Come
way.
on.
Yes. We were actually, we had lunch. We had the great success of This Is Our Youth. We were having lunch one day at Cafe Lou on
Perfect.
13th. And we were walking out, and Ethan Hawke was sitting at the bar. And Kenny's like, hey, Ethan, did you read that script? And and Ethan was like, oh, no, man, I did. It's just not for me. I just did this other thing that's basically the same character. So, it's good, bro, but it's just not for me right now. And we started to walk out, and I was like, what script?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, you haven't read it? And I was like, no. I'm gonna direct a movie. And I was like, can I read it? And he says, just don't get your fucking manager on me.
I love that.
And finally he acquiesced, and it was basically like, fine. We're gonna I'm casting Timothy Oliphant this weekend.
Oh my God.
You don't look anything like Laura Linney, but I'm gonna I'll let you audition just because you're such a pain in the ass. And and he brought me in on a Sunday into the casting office with him holding a camera in one hand and reading the script in the other.
Oh my God.
And that was my audition. After the first scene, he's like, that was really good.
Damn it.
Might be good in this part. All right, let's read the next one. And we read the next one.
No way.
That's
And
crazy.
he was like, you're really fucking good in this.
Great.
Great. Just great.
That's hysterical. Mark, there's two things I'm obsessed with: theater stories, if you got one, and medical stories. And so, but you don't have to do either one, and you can not answer any question you don't want to. But the what happened to you during You Can Count on Me is fascinating to me, medically.
Actually, that was after
After.
all that.
Okay.
And I was on my way. I was like all the big agents and everything. And I had a brain tumor after like the success of You Can Count on Me.
And you had a
And,
dream about it or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Wait.
it's the craziest thing. I was actually shooting The Last Castle with Gandolfini and Robert Redford, and I had about a week left on that. My Sunrise was like 9.5 months pregnant, and the baby was imminently coming, and I had one of those like 4 a.m. calls, and I woke up probably around 3, and I just had this crazy dream, and it wasn't like any other dream I'd ever had. It was just like, you have a brain tumor. It wasn't even a voice. It was just pure knowledge.
Wow.
You have a brain tumor.
That's
and
insane.
you have to deal with it immediately.
That's crazy.
Jesus.
Wait.
I mean,
And then were there any symptoms?
No, it's funny. I had like an ear infection that night, and so I was feeling, that was hurting me, and so I went to the cast doctor the next day, who was literally sat on the board of the Nashville Presbyterian Hospital, and I said, "Listen, this is gonna sound crazy." I had this dream last night that I had a brain tumor.
Fucking actors.
And she said, that is crazy.
Uh-huh.
But there's no reason that you should, have to worry about it. I'll order you a CAT scan, and we'll go right after work today, and we'll show how crazy you are. And I was like, oh, great, I am crazy. Just do it anyway. And I went, and then we went up to the neurologist's office, who's going to read the scan, and the nurse calls, the doctor out. I could hear them talking in the other room, and she comes in, she's just kind of like a zombie, and she says, you have a mass behind your left ear the size of a golf ball. And we don't know what it is. We can't tell until it's biopsied.
Same ear as the earache? The ear infection?
Yeah, same ear as the earache. And I said, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
gives me
And,
such anxiety.
How old were you?
Yeah, oh my God, I was 33.
33. And thank God it was benign.
About to have a baby.
About to have a baby.
And you just finished You Can Count on Me?
And you've worked super hard, and you've just done all this stuff, and now you're making a movie with Robert Redford and Gandolfini. It's all coming together, and in this moment, you're like,
Jesus.
And they're like, it's on. So I didn't tell Sunny because she had the birth plan. She did the the yoga. She had the doula. We had the hot tub ordered. We had like
for the party after.
This is like this is like her wedding. Man, like this is like her christening, her quinceañero.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I can't. She's already like, oh God, him again. I mean, is everything got to be about him?
Yeah.
And so I just couldn't. And like a week after the baby, I had to go in and meet the neurologist and decide what I was gonna do.
And had you told Sunny yet?
I hadn't told her.
Wow.
No way.
What a thing to sit on.
Until the night before.
Dude. I mean, yeah, like Jason says, like you're sitting there with all this stuff going on. What a thing to sit on. What a thing to have literally in your head and also swimming around in your head in both ways. I mean, and that time between and telling her must have been just absolute torture.
It was
They
excruciating.
like shave your head and cut into your scalp and take the thing out?
I mean, it was a full, yes. I have a big scar,
Dude.
that quarter horseshoe thing.
Did they say that the prognosis was like, were you super concerned, or were they like, listen, this is something we do a lot, it's early, blah, blah, blah?
I was super concerned because I didn't, I hadn't really I hadn't met with a neurologist, what I was told by the doctors was like, it's a brain tumor. But from the dream was so intense, and it was literally like, you have a brain tumor, you have to deal with it immediately.
Right.
And it just had this sense of doom. And You know, I'm like, it's a
You're
fucking
like, no,
brain
that's
tumor.
just the tumor talking. I
Dude,
mean,
it's
that's,
I know. This, you know how my tumor ran away with me, really.
but still,
I love that it was close enough to your ear to actually speak to you and say, "Hey, come get me,
It
and take
whispered
me out."
in my ear.
That's just crazy that you had a dream about it. That's
wow,
just
dude.
insane.
So they take you in there. They shave a spot. They cut open your scalp. They cut it out, and then is there an extensive rehab process, or are you out and about that afternoon?
No, man. Well, first of all, I just got to say, when I told Sunny about it, first she thought I was joking. And then she just burst into tears and said, I always knew you were going to die young.
Oh
my God. That's horrible.
But so good. I mean,
That's really good.
If you wrote it in a script, it would be too much.
Let's just play that instead of saying it. Here we go, everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so good.
Oh my God.
And,
Wow.
I think I might
So they
have
took it
laughed.
out. It was benign, but it left you a little deaf in your ear, right?
Not a little, just totally.
Totally.
Really, completely deaf in one ear?
Completely left deaf in one ear. And when I woke up, the left side of my face was totally paralyzed.
No.
Like I couldn't even close my eye. And I was talking out the side of my mouth like this, you know?
Did they say that to expect this, or was that a shock to you?
They said to me I had I had a 20% chance of nicking my nerve on the left side of my
Mark.
face and killing it, and then I had 70% chance of losing my hearing, which went. And you know, at that point, like you in the airplane, you know, you're like,
Yeah, you're gripping.
okay, I don't really believe in you,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know, take my hearing,
Yeah.
but let me keep the face and
right.
just let me be the father
Yeah,
to this kid.
foxhole prayers, right? I mean, like
Yeah,
that.
man.
Yeah.
Reverse for me. They took my face, but I can hear great.
You're beautiful, and you
Yeah.
have incredible hearing, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you. Mark, can we start at the beginning? And I want to know more about you. You grew up in Wisconsin. When did you move to LA? What made you move? Did the whole family move to LA?
Yeah,
And why?
we moved. No, the whole family didn't move to LA. We started in Wisconsin. You know, the family business sort of blew up. You know, my family business was they had a construction painting business, and
Construction painting?
yeah, like huge jobs, like the Libby factory and
Right.
Okay,
or
gotcha.
GM Motors, American Motors. You know, but sandblasting and
paint the
you know,
whole factory.
huge jobs.
Okay.
And that went under, and my dad was, you know, trying to start a new life, and so that took us to San Diego, and he had the original soda butler, which was you could make your own soda at home for fractions of the cost.
Really? I mean,
you
like
carbonate your own soda.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was his baby, and
wow.
he was ready to take off like we see it today. And Coca-Cola and Pepsi and all those brands wouldn't sell him the syrup because it was a home delivery kind of system. And there's an antitrust law against that. They have to sell those syrups to the public.
Really?
And he was like, this is against the law. And they're like, fuck you, take us to court.
Right.
And basically, once those high-end brands weren't available to people, they just sort of lost its popularity, and that crapped out. But so we were living in San Diego.
With nothing to do.
Yeah. And we moved there the day after I graduated from high school.
Wow.
And I had no support group there. And I was just I mean, I'd been surfing since I started living in Virginia Beach. So all I was doing was really surfing and smoking weed.
Yeah.
You know, we all know that.
Sure.
And wrestling, by the way, you were a wrestler.
Yeah, I was a wrestler during high school.
That's
It's
crazy.
going to get us to Foxcatcher at some point in this interview.
If I ever
love
shut
that
up.
movie.
And
I love the movie too.
and you know, someone said go to Los Angeles. You want to be an actor? Go to Los Angeles. Go to the Stella Adler Conservatory. you'll meet people there. I'll take care of you. And
Where'd
I
that
was so
acting
desperate.
interest come from? In Wisconsin, was it born?
Yeah, man. You know, I was in a Catholic. You know, my family's Catholic. My grandmother was a born again Christian, and my father was a Baha'i. So I had like the whole Middle East, a good part of the Middle East living in my home. You know. And they still couldn't get along. And I would, first of all, I'd go to church and I was like, wow, that guy's, wow, he's captivating.
Right.
Captivating as a priest could be. Then I was saved by Jimmy Swaggart at the First Assembly of God, and I was like, whoa, he's got a band.
Yeah.
He's sweating. He's like Elvis. So I started I got an idea what it was like to perform, and it was weird. My grandmother one night, I was probably like 8, everything that happened to me that's like core experiences were my grandmother, whether it was my first enema or it was and my last, by the way.
And I was just going to say, not your last. Yeah.
and being saved by Jimmy Swaggart, but also letting me stay up at night and watch like the movie of the week, and that one was Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh wow!
And I saw Brando like at 8 years old, and I was like, I didn't know it was Brando. I don't even know, I was like, Grandma, who's that? And she tells me. I was like, what is he doing? She says, he's acting. I was like, I want to do that.
Just like that.
She's like, let's get finished with this enema first, and then we'll.
Let's clean you out first.
I have just the thing for you. We're going to cure you of that.
Wow.
So then that kind of goes on pause through
High
the
school.
moving, and then you're out. Then you move up from San Diego to L.A. to pursue that.
Yeah, so I'm like, Dad, I kind of want to go to the school, and he said, I was like, but it's in L.A. and I've never really been away from home. I was 18, and he's like, well, why not? I was like, I don't know. I'm afraid. And he's like, well, what's the worst that can happen? What are you afraid of? I was like, what if I die? And he's like, well, if you die, who gives a shit? You'll be dead. You won't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be sad, but I mean, you're not gonna know.
I like your dad.
Yeah. And so I did too. And I went up there, and I was taking the train. I used to.
Oh wow!
We didn't have any
Amtrak.
money at that point. We were just poor as church mice. So I'd bus tables at night, and then the next day I went to school every other day. So I'd work one day and make just enough money to pay for a round trip train ticket and buy a burrito that I cut into thirds.
Really?
A bean and cheese burrito right off of Hollywood Boulevard at Dos Burritos.
Yeah.
That's two.
And yeah.
Wow.
And that was it. And I just had my mind blown. And I'm like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
And then
That's
then
cool.
from that acting school, was there like a showcase in there where agents came by and you got an agent, and then you started getting some auditions and got a couple jobs and just sort of a natural progression?
I was there for 7 years.
Wow. Without representation.
Honing my craft.
And bartending at the Chateau Marmont, right? But didn't you drive a motor? You rode a motorcycle everywhere, which is my first thing was when I read you had a motorcycle and you drove it to auditions. I was like, what about your hair? Like, because you have to be on camera.
It was
Like,
amazing
my
because
hair.
there was no helmets back then, which was
I know, that's
also
what I'm saying.
deadly.
Oh, so it's all wind
Oh, my
blown
hair
and
was
beautiful.
awesome. It was all
Wispy.
wind blown. And,
Oh, okay.
I looked like a cross between Sal Mineo and
John Travolta.
and Bozo.
Bozo. It's wild that you drove a motorcycle everywhere. Like, I can't imagine.
I couldn't afford a car. It was like I had a $250 1974 Honda XR 250 that I could personally work on when it broke down, and that was the only way I could get around LA. I just couldn't. I was living in a closet for $200.
Yeah.
My whole nut was about $300 a month.
Yeah.
So then was
yeah.
there a big job that kind of launched you, or was it sort of like a little bit here, a little bit there, and just sort of a slow progression?
It was a very slow progression. I mean, there's really no reason that I should have tried as long as I did, because that was from 18 to 28.
I mean, that is such a
that's
long
wild.
time to like stick with. You want to talk about stick with it.
Yeah.
There's so much opportunity in there for you to say fuck it and throw it in and go do anything else.
Yeah.
Right?
I did. I tried.
No,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah. I'm just thinking the similarities between your story and Sean's story.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, I
You
am.
know?
No, but because I'm thinking about I think if I'm remembering correctly, you came to LA and you smoked a lot of weed and wrestled, and you'd never nut for less than $300 either. If I'm putting all the pieces, if I'm thinking back, if I'm thinking of the right,
You
$300 for a nut?
That's why Will was silent for the last 2 minutes. He's been
He
constructing
was
that
just
joke.
shaping that joke. Yeah. We love it.
It was so well executed, too.
thank you.
It was beautiful.
I was like, wait, that's not my story. I moved to LA and got a sitcom right away.
God bless you. I love you for that.
Okay,
But
so,
Mark, let me ask you this, because my recollection is so you're 28, but when you came to New York and started doing stuff at Naked Angels with those guys, with Missy and Kenny, is when I first met you when you guys were doing the short plays.
Yeah.
Before This Is Our Youth, you guys were doing, and you had done, right before This Is Our Youth, you had done a movie and you had I feel like you had an agent at that point, like right before This Is Our Youth. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I'd done a few softcore horror films.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, it is. I
real?
did Mirror Mirror 2 and Mirror Mirror 3. The Raven Dance and The Voyeur.
yeah,
Oh,
sure.
wow. I will be looking for
No,
that.
there was something. What was the other movie you did? You
Most
did
of
like
it came.
like a teen movie, or like you did like a ski movie. Am I remembering this right?
No, there was.
I don't
I had a 1-day role in There Goes My Baby. I don't know
Okay.
if you remember that.
I
with
don't.
Sean
Sounds like
Astin.
That sounds like a made-up name of a movie.
Yeah.
I know. And then you know what? I actually did have a couple pilot shots
Maybe
at
that was it.
pilots that never went. With Kenny Marino. With Ken Marino.
Oh, Ken Marino, yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. That was like my first job, and it was to play like the little ne'er-do-well, you know.
You guys would be great brothers. Would you guys play brothers
Yeah.
in that? Did you really?
Yeah, we were brothers. Me, him, and Sean Astin.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Love Sean.
Yeah,
And
killer
Ken.
cast.
Love Sean, love Ken Marino.
Yeah.
Ken Marino's an
Yeah.
all-time great dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have got that. We should have. They blew it. Someday someone will show that pilot. Hey, you know, I had an idea. You guys could probably actualize this. Why doesn't someone start a movie a streaming station
With all the failed
all of
pilots,
the
I know.
fucking failed pilots and television
I've
shows
asked that
we
for a
all
long
did?
time.
Yeah.
You'd think that the networks would just like during the summers show all the pilots that they didn't pick up, just to sort of cross monetize what they did. And the reason they don't do it is because they don't want one of those pilots to be well received, and then they look like
They look
schmucks for not
stupid.
ordering it. That's
Yeah.
the only
Right.
reason they don't do it.
It's the same
That's
reason
so
that they don't want to
schmucky.
say
Yeah.
that they hate putting movies in turnaround and letting other studios make the movie on the off chance that another turnaround is for Tracy, is that if a studio is developing a movie and then they decide they're not going to make it, they have the potential another studio to come in and say like, hey, we'll pay you for whatever it costs you to develop that script, and we want to make that movie. They don't like to do it
They'd
because
rather eat the fee on.
well, yeah,
writing.
because if it goes to another studio and it does really well, then the guy who decided not to make it gets fired, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it happens all the
It's so silly.
fucking time.
Yeah.
But you're right, Mark. That's a great idea. There's so many great pilots out there. There are people who do show them sometimes, because what was that great one that Owen Wilson Jack did, Black?
Oh wow. really?
About the talking motorcycle, and Owen Wilson's the voice of the. Have you ever seen this?
No.
What?
No,
Fu-
I
it's
want to. What
fucking-
were they on?
It's
Right.
hilarious. There's so many. That's how I met Andy and Akiva and Yorm, those guys at Lonely Island. They did a Lonely Island pilot that Phil Lord and Chris Miller produced.
Wow.
That was all sketches before they got SNL. And somebody showed it to me. I was like, these guys are fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And the network, didn't pick it up. And then imagine if you showed that whoever that person is, they'd be banned from showbiz forever.
Well, they're probably gone already.
yeah, it's
You're
true.
right.
I mean, they really like burned through all those
Yeah.
executives.
Turnover's fast there.
Yeah.
So Mark, with those humble beginnings, and an extended period of
Incredible.
was there? What about when you
It sucked. Let's not romanticize.
But so then was it
Yeah.
was it difficult at all when you just like hit the massive amount of success that you're in now? Was that also a slow progression as well, or was there a moment where you got a big fat check or a big fat job and the transition was uncomfortable or difficult for you because of such humble, extended beginnings?
All I know is my big break was a play with Holly Hunter and Carol Kane and Bill Pullman, and it was the hot thing in Los Angeles at the time.
Hot LA play. You don't hear that often.
Unusual.
No, but it was those people, and Holly'd already won the Academy Award, and Carol was huge, and Bill was huge.
Where was the play? Amundsen?
No, it was at the Met Theater. They started their own theater, and
Theater.
yeah, it was in the early '90s, and that was going to be my big break. And I, of course, was fired 4 days before we opened.
No.
And
Wow.
A stagehand fired me because Beth Henley was the director, but she just couldn't bring herself to fire me. So they basically had a stagehand who told me he was the producer fire me.
What was your problem? Why did you get fired?
I sucked.
No.
No.
I'll bet not.
I mean, why else do you get fired?
I'll bet their taste was up their ass.
No. You know what? Honestly, I was probably what I was told was I was in a different play, which could possibly
That's
could
a
definitely be
director's
true.
fault.
Yeah.
The director's got to get everybody in the same project.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason. That's what I was trying
It's
to tell
true.
them.
By the way, Mark, we could there's so many. I could ask you 1,000, like the normal
We'll start
heart.
with
I-
one.
Sure,
Let's
yeah,
move
just
along.
get one. You
Yeah,
know what I
just
mean?
lo- I thought
fucking-
you were
we're here
incredible,
for it.
normal heart, and I thought
You want a
much
minute
is-
to think about it?
No, I don't need it. But this much is true. I mean, it was mind blowing. You played those two. I mean, how did you do that? What was your approach to This Much Is True, where you played identical twins? Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. I mean, I look at that and I was like, God, the work. Like, how did you even start? Where do you start?
Well, Derek and I,
Derek C. in France,
Derek C. in France,
director.
our director and the writer. He adapted it from the book.
Genius man.
Yeah, he's a genius. I had gotten the book rights, and I immediately wanted him. And he'd only done his own stuff that he'd ever,
Right.
And so he was taking a meeting out of, courtesy because we love each other, and we keep talking about working with each other, but we never were finding anything. And so
I
I
meet that guy.
was like, yeah, man, let's meet and we'll go for a walk and we'll talk about it. And he started with, no, this isn't for me. I don't want to do the CGI kind of thing with this. I don't know how to do that. And we walked for like 3 hours, and I just kind of like pitched him, what I was thinking and seeing and how it related to his work. And at the end of it, he's like, okay, man, let's do this.
Wow.
And that was like a year or two before we started working on it together, a year or two before we ever shot it. And
Was it always going to be HBO? It was HBO, wasn't it?
No, we took it out, we shopped it, and HBO kind of was interested, sniffing around, but everyone else was like, no
we're good.
way.
Yeah.
This is, no. No one wants to see someone cut off their arm in the first 10 minutes of a show, know?
Yeah, it was wild.
And Frances was like, Francesca was like, who was running
Orsi.
the television, for Francesca Orsi was like, wait, no one else wants it? I'm like, no. She's like, okay, we'll do it.
Yeah. She's a badass.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And we did it. And but Derek had the genius idea. It was really, he really approached it as two different films, really. And he said, I want you to go out and gain the weight, and we're going to take 8 weeks, and you're going to, I was like, no gym, weight gain?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was really like having the space between that usually you do a twin movie and literally you run off, you put a mustache on, you run back in the same day and you shoot it. But I got...
Well, that's how you did Lego Masters this year, right?
That's exactly how I do everything.
Glue it on, the
Glue
spirit
it
gum.
on.
Let's tamp it down.
Well, I just use clippings from my wig.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're so damn good, and I hate you for that because I have to take 8 weeks to get my shit together and grow a mustache.
So
And,
you have to. Wow.
I know your performance deserved the nomination.
Thank you.
Just incredible. And of course, because you're sitting here, and I'm a huge fan of the Marvel stuff. And how did you get the Hulk? When I see what you guys do in the Marvel movies, I'm just like, not having done a ton of movies myself, but enough to know that the schedules are like 15, 16 hours a day. But those, I imagine, where you shoot let's shoot like 3 lines of dialogue today. That's what it feels like from the outside. Like they have so much time and money.
Yeah.
It just must be so cushy.
Meanwhile, you spend 3 hours in the makeup chair before you even do those.
Downey says he won't do more than 3 words a day, I heard.
Yeah. Well, he's on a
That's
per
what he
word
told me.
rate.
That's what he
That's
told
when
me.
he's busting his ass.
Yeah, that's when he's working his hardest. Why would I do more than 3? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Downey could probably do 10 pages of dialogue in a day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he speaks quickly, and the guy. I mean, it's just like I don't understand how he does it. It's
He's a
just
genius.
amazing.
He's a fucking
genius.
Yeah.
It takes me like a month to learn a line.
Truly?
And so, oh God, it takes me forever. It's such a drag.
Really?
Do you have like a trick? Like some people write their lines down, that makes them remember it. Others like kind of say it into a mirror. Do you have a way?
I have this app called Scene Study.
Really?
And I record each line, and then I could pull out my character's line, and it just runs in repetition over and over and over again, and then I'll learn it that way. And what I have to do, it's weird. I have to be walking to learn lines to really learn them.
That's not weird.
And I just repeat them over and over and over 1,000 times till I learn it like a song, kind of,
No shit.
Do you have the way lines go into my head is that I don't decide exactly how I'm going to be saying a line, but I fully sort of understand kind of what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. So there's a little bit of performance that's kind of in there. Like I can't just learn word, period. Like there needs to be in context or something. So do you marry in a certain amount of performance when you're learning your lines? And if so, are you able to be flexible once you get on the set and now the other actor is doing it differently or the director is asking for a different tone and you're unable to pivot your performance because the learning of the line is married to the performance? Does that make sense?
I learned early on, this was a technique that was taught to me from my acting teacher who had learned it from someone who learned it from Paul Muni. So this technique goes like way back, and the whole thing is that you just spit it out. And you start really slowly at first. So let's say, to be or not to be or whatever.
Yeah.
So you do it to be or not to be very slowly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you work it up faster and faster and faster till it's to be or not to be. To be or not to be, to be or not to be, to be or not to be. And it's really just to teach your muscles to know it without having to think about it. So then when you are working, you're super free. And you haven't really, you've learned it in a way that is like, doesn't have any inflection on it. It's just very flat. Yeah. So that you can be more open to what's coming at you, and you don't get stuck in a particular way of saying it. Although I do anyway.
Isn't it amazing how many different ways?
Right, because the way that you learn it can, if you do it that way, can sometimes affect the cadence. Like quite literally, just to get to the mechanics, the actual cadence of how you say it.
Yeah.
I was talking about this yesterday with an actor whom we all know, and he was saying, we were talking about this, and I said. About this weird sort of quasi-improv thing that we were talking about. And I said, I remember there were people that we worked with. I could count on that person delivering a line. They always delivered it the same way every time. And I knew that they were going to deliver it that way, which freed me up or us up to do whatever the fuck we wanted because they were just like a spine. They would always do it the same way.
Yeah.
So then you could just fuck with that. It was so freeing knowing that they were always going to be right on it.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter. So I've always felt so free to just fuck around.
No curveballs.
No curveballs.
It's what's really beautiful in your work, though, too. It's like, that freedom is.
Is that one of the things that you like about theater? The fact that there is dialogue there that once you learn it, that you don't have to learn anything yet. Like there's no new scene tomorrow and another scene the next day.
Yeah, but I would say like Mark, I know we spent a lot of time on This Is Our Youth, but I mean, and I maybe short of Kenny, I don't know if anybody saw it, especially that first one more than me. That play has so much dialogue, and you specifically have so much dialogue in that play that it's mind blowing. You guys, it's so crazy. And from previews all the way through the end of the run, your performance changed a lot. It did. Like it evolved, and you were giving like. I mean, you remember, how much dialogue did you have in that fucking play?
Oh, so much dialogue. We both, it was two people literally on stage.
Yeah.
Either me and one other person or me and another person
But
for
you
2
all the
hours.
time.
And me just all the time. And big monologues and lots of overlapping. So you had to learn the overlapping, and his writing is so crazy. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, like,
like that, yeah.
It has so many stops and starts and idiosyncratic, dialogue.
And for Tracy out there in theater, you cannot change the dialogue at all. Or you get written up by the stage manager, right? And then equity will fine you. Like
you can't change anything. They're
anything.
like, why were you changing why did you change where you moved on that line?
Right.
That was set. That was set with the director.
I would sink with that.
Oh, it's hard.
I'm way too loose with the dialogue.
The first act, it was 2 minutes too long.
Yeah,
So can we just tighten that up again?
Yeah.
And you're just like,
wouldn't
what
do
are
well
you
with that.
talking? I don't care.
And if you really want to get out of there, it's 5 minutes too short.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just talk faster.
They never complain about it being too short.
Yeah. First of all, have you ever? I read that your activism and your using your voice you have such a massive platform to use your voice, and you're not afraid to use your voice, and I love that about you. Your opinions, you just spew them out. This is what I believe. This is what's right from wrong, and I love it.
Spew them out. I mean, that makes
no, but I mean, it's like intelligently
It seems
share.
that way.
No.
No,
I mean,
it is. Yeah, Sean's right. It's remarkable, dude. How much
it is
you have.
incredible, and I love it. And
truly.
I wish I had the balls you have. But tell me what the Solutions Project is. But wait, before I talk about the Solutions Project, have you ever spoken in front of Congress?
I've spoken on the Hill with the Senate. I've testified.
So this is what I want to ask you. What is that like when you're sitting there? Because at home, when I'm watching somebody do that, they all look like bored.
And you're like, Scotty, who turned on CNBC?
Yeah. Is it effective? Did you feel like being there was effective?
So I did that movie Dark Waters, which is about forever chemicals. For Tracy, they're the chemicals that come from like Teflon that stay in your blood and are linked to 7 different cancers, and they're in everybody and all over the world. And the mother passes it from themselves to the baby through their breast milk, and it gets in your body, it accumulates, and it never leaves, and it's pervasive. So we did a movie called Dark Waters to tell the story of the lawyer who exposes this. It's a true story, and brings all the lawsuits and wins the biggest tort, lawsuit in the history of the United States to actually study this stuff. So I was asked to go and testify to the environmental committee. It's when you go there, it's half Republicans and half Democrats. Or the seats are like it's a gallery kind of thing, and they're all there. These are House people. I didn't go to the Senate, and you're testifying, and they're asking you questions, and you're getting peppered a little bit. But on one side, the Democrat side, there was literally every seat was taken. It was like 40 people. On the Republican side, there's 3 guys.
Mm-hmm. And when they're done with their questions, they get the hell out of there.
Oh, he literally, it wasn't even a question. It was like, I know why you're here. You hate industry. This is all just a ploy for you to make a bunch of money and attack, big corporations and the economic good of people. And that's all I got to say. And threw the mic down and walked out.
I yield.
Yeah. And I'm like, do I get a chance to answer that?
Wow.
I'm like, believe me, I know how to make a movie that makes a lot of money, and this is not one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in here that's erroneous at all. Everything's completely vetted and backed up.
I'm sure you've been asked this before, so I apologize for not knowing the answer, but have you ever given any thought to public office?
No.
And because of the pain in the ass of it all, because of folks that have different ideas about why they're there?
Yeah, I was there lobbying against fracking like back in the day. And
I remember that.
when it was all just kind of happening. And I was in Harry Reid's office.
Mm.
And basically he didn't come to the meeting, but his chief of staff was there, and he said, listen, closes the door. He said, listen, here's the deal. This city is overrun with fossil fuel money. We have to spend 3/4 of our time on the phone raising money.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the wrong place. You need to do this on the regional level, on the state level. That's really where this kind of thing is the only place that this could get done.
Mm.
And I was just like, are you kidding?
So disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you joking me?
And the reason they need the money, or any politician needs money, is to buy 30-second ads, right? To get reelected and reelected, which only just puts them in a position of power. It's not like it's some extremely lucrative position to be a senator or a representative. It's some of them are there for ideological reasons, right? I would imagine, but
Initially.
Mostly.
But not to be overly cynical, but it seems like or sounds like a lot of them are there just because they enjoy the position of access and influence and power and getting their ring kissed at parties and stuff like that. It's just so heartbreaking.
It's pretty like, like we see, it's just, it's not really about policy that's going to help people. It just gets broken down along sort of these lines. And a lot of them are just ideological, and it's it's like, I need to get this money from this person, so there's a little bit of back and forth. I'm going to have to give them a little bit of something.
Right.
And that's really, I think that's more true than any of us really want to believe.
Yeah.
But if
That's
you
just crazy.
ran, you could start a change. If a bunch of people like you ran.
I
Things
guess
could change
what
one day,
I
right?
sense from you is
Okay, I'll
is
do
that
it.
you can really affect. Is that you can affect change outside, like that there is no change on the inside, and that if you want to make noise or whatever, you have to keep banging the drum.
Yep,
from
and you
outside.
can. And you do. I mean, we banned fracking here in New York State, and
Right.
and
Amazing.
PFAS is finally, you don't really. I mean, we know, but there's such power in storytelling, and you can really change things with storytelling, especially if you're not like nailing it, hitting it on the head.
Right,
If you're sort of just telling that story, that human story that we all relate to. We all relate to other people's stories. And, there's been movies that The Kids Are All Right in the middle of the dialogue on, same-sex marriage. I mean, that
great
movie
movie.
opened people up to be like, oh, gay people have it just as bad as we do.
Yeah.
Right.
And then,
Oh, look at Sean's show. Will and Grace is one of the first shows that
Exactly.
oh my God,
Profound.
I'm in love with these characters that are not heterosexual. So I guess gay people aren't so bad.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sean
and we had
Hayes is making me laugh.
that shift, which was the biggest
thank you.
shift, societal shift on an issue, Sean, that you guys, that was the biggest societal shift on an issue with the largest spread of polling than any other.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that. And it's to your point, it's just telling a story. We weren't batting people over the head about it. It's just like presenting the people and the facts, and this is how normal everybody is, you know?
Yeah.
And we just frack a little differently.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole. That's so good.
See, this
God
is where he
damn
gets
it.
the big money.
How long? That one, once
don't know.
again,
That was
just
fresh.
laid in so beautifully.
So really quick, before we let you go, Mark,
in the grass.
it's you, Chateau Marmont. I can't believe you were the bartender at that hotel for 10 years. You were the bartender.
I was doing pickup work there. I was at another bar called, I was at two bars. I was at the Olive, which was a hot little bar, and I was at,
I remember
yes,
that.
I was there, yes, during that time, and I was at Smalls, which is kind of like this punk rock and roll bar on the, right where Melrose and Gower met.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And I was doing pickup work at the Chateau, which didn't have a bar yet. So we'd go in and set up a bar for all the events there.
Oh, wow. Isn't that wild to be back? Would you ever go back and be like, wow, fuck
Yeah, man, I'm there, and the young guy comes in at the food, room service, and he's kind of looking at me, and I go to give him his tip, and he's like, "Wow, that's a huge tip." Then he's like, "Hey, man, you made it."
And then do you say, I started right where you are?
They know. He's like, "You used to work here, didn't you?"
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You made it, man. That's cool."
That's so cool. I love that. Jason and I had lunch there over 20 years ago. He does not remember it.
Is that true?
Mark,
Yes,
thank
he
you for
does.
being here today.
Wait.
This is so
Wait. I wanted to, before you go,
Will,
I truly don't. I'm looking at you right now
was
going,
over
what the fuck
20
are you
years.
talking
how long
about?
have you and Sonny been married now? It's been forever.
we
I
were
don't
married
mean it
for-
that way. I mean, it's awesome. It's a long
We've
time.
been together for 27 years.
Oh, that's great. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's
and you have how many
amazing.
kids?
We have 3 kids,
It's incredible.
22, 18, and 16.
Can you believe your life?
No, man.
That's really cool.
My biggest concern was would I have a house? Would I have a place to live? I
Right.
mean, that was like I just want a place to live.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be in the streets. Like that, if I can attain that would be great.
Yeah. And now look
Oh,
at you.
dude,
And
it's
now
so.
like-
cool.
And now look at my office.
Yeah. Slash
You're
bathroom.
not working on motorcycles anymore.
Well, I tell you what,
No.
man. You haven't changed a bit. You're still the nicest, most talented dude, and it couldn't
man.
happen. And I'm so happy for your life. You've always been such a great dude. You've always had such a great vibe, and it makes me happy every time. I
Truly
see
one
you,
of my
man.
favorites.
Thank
you.
Mine too.
Oh, you
All time.
guys, I love you.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
stoked
And-
you did this show.
Oh, me too. Thank you for having me.
Mark, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And you were on my list for a long time for a reason. And it's so nice to finally meet you and gush because I just think you're great.
No, it was great, and you guys are great, and this is it was such a nice time. And Will,
I know. It's crazy,
I know.
right?
We came such a long way, and Jason, you've always been so kind to me. And Sean, now we know each other, and we'll be able to hug when we see each other.
Get together and
public.
frack,
Yeah.
Our frack. Let's take things slow.
Dude, I can't wait to see Poor Things. I gotta go
Dying
see it.
to.
I'm dying. I gotta go
It's
see
crazy.
I hear it's
can't wait. I
it. I
fantastic.
know.
Yeah.
I know. Let's get that
Congratulations
link.
on
Let's
that.
get that link.
Yeah. Okay, let's
No,
get
I'm going
it.
to pay for it. Full price.
You will?
Evening price. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evening
Whoa.
price. Yeah.
buy
Soon
it.
it'll be just on the the site, and you can.
Yeah,
just
but
go
I
and-
hear it's one you can go ahead and enjoy a big
It is
screen.
Let's
view.
go
Beautiful.
see it in the theater this week.
Let's go.
Let's
I
go,
go.
boys. All right, let's
SmartLess
go.
field trip.
Yeah.
All right.
Mark,
Bye, Marky.
you're the king.
Lots of
Thanks
love.
for doing
Thank
this.
you.
Have a
Thanks
great
for
rest of the
having
day.
me.
Great
Yeah,
to see
love
you, man. All
guys.
the best.
Thank you.
Bye,
That was
buddy.
Amazing. Bye.
Man,
Great guess.
that
Wow.
guy hits me right in the center of my target. Like, there's just such a good vibe about
Those
him.
guys always seem like so confident.
What do you mean, those guys? Which one?
Like-
you know what?
like-
I put him in. I feel like him, Crudup, and Rockwell
that's
are
what I'm
like you
Just,
came out of the same pea
easygoing,
pod.
Like, and you go, that's why they work because they're ultra talented, obviously, but they also work a lot because you want to hang out. Like they're
Yeah, the
just
salt of the earth
easygoing.
dudes. Yep.
Totally, and he's very he's just very I don't know. He's so authentic.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to try, and there's no pretense. He's really
I love that he got
that's it.
stoned a lot.
Or did.
It makes sense. It relaxes people.
Yeah. Well, that's a segue into, are you pushing a new product?
Yeah, do you have a new pen
You got
or
a
something?
gummy you
Yeah,
want
you
to
guys
sell?
listening?
What's going on?
A new pen. They're not gonna, no one's calling them vape pens anymore.
It really
Granddad.
relaxes people, which reminds me.
Take a deep, deep breath.
This is my favorite though. Thanks, we're good.
No, he's.
Oh, my God.
You know what's pretty awesome about
funny.
what he does for my taste is that he's this incredible actor, but you never see him acting. He's never
Yep, for sure.
taking these, I don't know, these obnoxious character swings that some actors absolutely can pull off for sure, but I never get the sense that he feels like he needs to, like just
Well,
being.
he's in the John Goodman. I mention this all the time. The category of actors, and it's growing now because we've had a few on him. He's one of those. Doesn't matter what he's in. He is always great. Right. So you start thinking you think about he mentions
Naturalism.
Kids Are All Right, and you're like, oh, he's great in that. And you said Foxcatcher, you're like, oh, he's great in that. And then you're like,
Foxcatcher's
you
such
forget
a good
about
movie.
Spotlight. Oh,
Spotlight
he's
is so good,
incredible in that.
Really
He's-
talented filmmakers are attracted to him. Yeah.
well, because he's always great. Like it's his story about Kenny saying to him, like, "You're not gonna do it," blah blah blah. And he goes, "Oh, you're really good in this." Like he's just really.
Undeniable.
That
Yeah, he's
imitation
undeniable.
is so funny.
It's so funny.
So funny. I like
here comes
spending
Sean.
these days with you guys. I haven't seen you in a long
This is lazy.
time.
This feels so lazy
It's
already.
been a real
got
quite a while since we've
You should
all
be
been
banned.
together.
You should be banned from doing these for a
and
bit.
it's I wish we could spend more time as the days go. Bye.
Officially banned going forward by
SmartLess.
SmartLess is 100% organic and artisanally handcrafted by Bennett Barbaco, Michael Grant Terry, and Rob Armjarf.
SmartLess.